distance, something stirring up the ground. Coffee shops and corner stores, people talking all around. But the words they're speaking softly got a weight that pulls you down. Something's moving through the grapevine, word by word from town to town. And they lean in close to tell you what they heard somebody say. But the truth gets bent and twisted as it travels on its way. Who do you trust when the talk gets low? Who do you trust when the whispers grow in the halls of power where the secrets flow? Who do you trust? Tell me who do you trust? Backroom deals and handshake promises sliding underneath the door. Politicians playing poker with the chips are rich and poor. Every word's a calculation, every pause worth so much more. While the people keep on waiting for the truth they're hungry for. And they lean in close to tell you what they heard somebody say. But the truth gets bent and twisted as it travels on its way. Who do you trust when the talk gets low? Who do you trust when the whispers grow in the halls of power where the secrets flow? Do you trust? Tell me who do you trust? Thicker, every lie becomes the truth, and the honest voices calling sound like strangers in the booth. We're all just trying to listen to the static and the noise, but the loudest information drowns out the quieter voice. Who do you trust when the talk gets low? Who you trust when the whispers grow in the halls of power where the secrets flow? Who you trust? Tell me who do you trust? Who you trust? Do you trust? Do you trust? Do you trust when the whispers grow?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Political Theater, everybody. Thank you guys for joining in this evening. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys are following us on Substack, Rumble, YouTube, wherever you guys are tuning in tonight, thank you guys for being here. We've got a huge show for you this evening. I am Walter Kurt. This is the Political Theater. Thank you guys for tuning in. We've got a ton to talk about, but the first thing we're going to go over is the absolutely biblical incompetence going on in Rhode Island. This is unbelievable what's going on here. So if you guys tuned in over the weekend, there was just an X space we had a casual version of the show on Sunday night. We were talking about the shooting and the suspects from the shooting. All of that was going on Sunday night. And we thought we had a person. We thought we had the correct suspect, and apparently that wasn't accurate. So we need to go over some of this before we even get into it. I'll have the X space up and running here shortly, guys, so you guys will be able to join the show and be able to chime in and talk here very shortly. As soon as this gets up and running, we'll do that. But we're going to go ahead and get into this section of the show before we do that. So thanks for being here, guys. So obviously the top story of the night is got to be this insane national clown show that we're watching in Providence, Rhode Island. Supposedly Brown University is supposed to be this, it's an Ivy League school, right? I mean, it's the finest, one of the best institutions on the planet, according to our own metrics. But we're witnessing something. We're witnessing incompetence that's so profound, so awe-inspiring that it's almost scripturally perfect. I mean, future generations are going to debate whether or not this was mismanagement or a performance art, and how stupid this has been. It's not even like they've botched the investigation. This is like a masterclass in what to do wrong, in the wrong order, for the wrong reasons, while confidently assuring the public that they've got everything under control, despite all available evidence showing that they have no idea what's going on, and that it looks to me like possibly they're hiding all of this for optics reasons. I mean, that's got to be some answer in here. That they're not releasing information. They're refusing to release information. They keep asking them questions, and they can't answer any questions. But let's walk through it here for a second here. So obviously the shooting happens, very serious. Everybody is aware. There's 2 people that were killed. There's 8 people wounded. And apparently this guy, whoever it is, magically manages to avoid all of the 800 cameras on campus. And there's no video of him anywhere. They don't have anything. So what do? The first thing they do is they leak a name to the media. And, it's not a confirmed suspect, not a charged individual. It's not even a clearly identified person, by the way. It's just a name. And they drop that out in the media landscape like a grenade. And, of course, obviously, journalists across the country start scrambling, including myself. I was like, what's going on here? This isn't a name. This isn't a full name. So people start trying to figure out who it is. Who is this guy? Is he local? Is he affiliated with Brown? Is he not affiliated with Brown? Is he military? Is this even the right guy? Do we have the right date of birth? Middle name? Nothing. It's just complete chaos. But then, we think we have a name. So we think we named this guy properly. We find him and we say, okay, there's an Army spokesperson in D.C. that says this is the name. This is who it is. So everyone's racing against this clock trying to confirm who this is, because you either verify the name quickly or ruin someone else's life for the day slowly. And that's exactly what happened. So the confusion just, the internet's picking up people and they're putting random faces, random names everywhere. And then after all of that settles down, they say, okay, we've got it. It's over. We've got him now. It's done. And then what happens? They release him. Just like that. Nothing, they just, the person of interest has been released. I mean, it is just a complete clown show. The press conferences, they don't even really give an explanation. They say no apology. They just say, they just threw this guy's name out in the wood chipper and say, oh, yep, you never mind. So, if your name is Ben Erickson, I would strongly recommend you avoid the entire state of Rhode Island for the foreseeable future. Maybe the Eastern Seaboard, possibly North America. Because apparently in Providence, your name is just enough. Anywhere from Wisconsin to Rhode Island, you could be wrapped up in this nonsense. And of course, this all comes back to the leadership of Providence, because this has just been, a disaster from the very beginning. Of course, we have to talk about the police chief, or rather the concept of the police chief, because he didn't show up until something like 8 or 9 hours after the investigation began. Now, I am baffled by this in the first place, because, okay, so this is Rhode Island. Rhode Island is like the size of my backyard. So you can't be 8 hours away. So that means you were far out of state. I mean, but why did it take you 8 hours? Did you have to fly back? What's the explanation? The Roman Empire rose and fell in the time that it took for this guy to get here. It's not like he was stuck in traffic. I mean, it really is unbelievable. But of course, the chief wasn't front and center. And when he finally does show up, he barely speaks English. He doesn't even respond. He doesn't respond in English to questions at first. But, finally he does show up. And this entire disaster has been so screwed around that no one has any idea what's happening. They still don't. Now all of these videos that they're releasing, my favorite is the first video they release. Looks like someone recorded it on a Motorola Razr of some kind. I mean, it's just, it's a recording of a screen with a phone, not the video itself. But it's, and you can't see anything in it. It's completely useless. In the next video they released, the video they released a couple hours ago, was a side street camera from across the street. Now, I really believe that I have seen better images and video of Bigfoot and the Yeti. I mean, it's that bad. It really is that bad. There's no clear face. There's no identifying time feature. There's nothing helpful about these videos at all. And now, after that, then they release new video and they say, well, look, here's this guy. We've got his face now. But then you have to listen to what they said. This is from before, the day before the shooting. This isn't the day of. This isn't after the act. This is the day before before this, and even any of this happened. And now there's also a report out of CBS saying they had to restart the entire investigation. They had to restart it. What? How do you, at 48 hours have gone by, this is a mass shooting at a public university with hundreds of cameras, and they had to restart it? This is so catastrophically screwed up. And I don't even understand how you can do that. I really don't. I don't understand how you can do that. So screw this up so badly that they had to restart the entire investigation. The FBI is running around with them, just screwing around as well. Apparently, they're not doing anything. And what do we get with this new restart? And the new restart is these shitty videos of some dude that's not. Maybe it's the day before. That's what we got from the new restart of the investigation. So no one has any idea what's happening at all. No one has any clue what's going on at Brown. There is still a shooter at large in somewhere outside of Brown, or if maybe he was from Brown. They don't even know if he was a student or if he wasn't a student. We don't have a clear face. We don't have anything. We got nothing. I mean, the best thing we have is a guy that there's another person of interest, which I'm very confident in this person of interest because the previous Ben Erickson person of interest did such a great job. I don't know what we're doing. We're more than 48 hours out. There is not even the most basic of questions have been answered. Nothing. We don't even know if we have a real suspect. We don't even know if there was a motive. There's speculation on the internet is running rampant. I mean, people are saying that it was possible they targeted the Republican leader there. They think it's possible that it was a TPUSA assassination. They have no idea. They've got no idea. The public doesn't know. The media doesn't know. The police probably doesn't know at this point. This is a kind of failure that's become legendary. I mean, this is, at some point, there is no idea. They have no idea what's going on. And this is reasonably dangerous. There's a guy that was armed and showed up and shot up a college, and they have nothing. They've got nothing. There's no legitimacy at all behind this police investigation. The mayor himself came out and said, we're tired. Oh, we've been up for like 2 days working on this. We're so tired, guys. Sorry. I mean, oh, my God. What a absolute clown show. There's going to be mythological epics written about this. Bards will sing about it. College courses on criminology are going to teach how you fuck up everything, and that's going to be the title of the course, and it's going to be In the Year of Our Lord, Providence Lost the Plot. It's unbelievable. I have no idea what to say about this other than I've never seen such an incompetent group of people screw up so royally, so quickly, and so profoundly on every single thing. It is unbelievable. And the public, everyone's watching this. Like, what are you doing? And you just, wow. There's nothing about this that we have right now. So the incompetence that we're seeing here, there's a bunch of people saying, oh, it was intentional. Oh, and guys, no. Yeah, I don't think this is incompetence. Incompetence doesn't always look like evil. Sometimes it looks like three idiots and a sign language translator standing on screen, very, very confused because they have no idea what's going on. So Providence, Rhode Island, confusion is running the show and no one has any idea what's happening. So that's the featured story for this evening, and I am sure we'll get into this further as we continue to go for the show tonight, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in this evening. I'm going to get the X Space started because we do have other stuff we need to get into. So if you guys would like to join the show, the X Space is going to be up and running just now. If you guys are tuned in on the other platforms, make sure you guys hit the follow button. Make sure you guys share the space. Share the link out. Make sure people know that we are live. If you're on WCDispatch.com, that's the best place to tune in, guys. So I appreciate everyone who's tuned in here. We're going to get moving on some of the other stuff that we got to talk about. So the Keystone Cops, I love that. There's going to be some other stuff we got to go over because there's the other story that's happened today, which is the Trump response to the Rob Reiner's death and how apparently it was his son that killed him. The internet is melting down in all forms because President Trump responded exactly how President Trump responds to anything. He just says whatever the hell he's on his mind exactly in the moment, and everybody is absolutely losing their minds about it. But I've got a take on that where we can talk about the X space is filling up. If you guys would like to join the show, you guys are welcome to do so there. You can go to x.com, go to @WCDispatch, and you can join the show. If you guys were just tuning in on the space, you can listen to the opening of the show. We were talking about Rhode Island. We've got a number of other things to go through. I'm going to play some of the clips of these incompetent cops, and then we're going to talk about Trump and his rant on on TDS and Rob Reiner and the meltdown that has ensued from it, from people that are just so shocked that President Trump is President Trump. Oh my goodness. Shocking. I know, it's just crazy. I'm always personally shocked when President Trump does exactly what he's done for 10 years. It's baffling to me. How could he possibly be the exact same person he's been the whole time? It really is incredible to me that people get so bent out of shape when Trump does nothing more than he's ever done. He never changes anything about anything. He's always going to be the exact same person that he always was. He's not going to change. The guy's almost 80. Do you want him to like be different somehow? What is the rule really? I mean, how many times do people really change in their lives? Do you know many people that after they hit the age of 35, that they're any different from then until the rest of their lives? Really? How many people do you know that changed drastically in that time period? I don't know many of them. And Trump has been saying the same sort of things for 50 years. I somehow don't believe that he's going to one day wake up and say, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to retract that statement. The idea that you think that Trump is going to retract anything ever is ludicrous. Okay, he's not going to retract shit. He has no intention of retracting anything. It may upset people. It may not like people. And here's the deal, guys. You may not like Trump every single time he does something, but the man is remarkably consistent. He is remarkably consistent. He's never going to be any different than he always has been. People are trying to compare this in some way to, oh my goodness, it's so bad that, he said this. It's equivalent to making fun of Charlie Kirk when he died. No, he didn't. No, it's not, guys. He said this is a sad day. He said it in the beginning of it. He said, this is sad. Rest in peace at the end. But he had to dig around in it because it's Trump. And Trump immediately, well, some guy died that doesn't like me. And, this is what I'm just going to say. But the way that I took it, I looked at it and I read that. And I put a post out. I don't know if you guys saw the post. I put a post about it saying, here's your translation of this. This is, Trump says very clearly, may God forgive my enemies because I sure as hell won't. That's pretty much a full translation of that. He has no intention of forgiving or being blessful and being, kind to his enemies. That's not happening. It's Trump. He's going to say the exact same sort of shit about you after you die, before you die, and everyone's screaming about it. And my response was, if you guys remember, during Charlie Kirk's memorial, Trump said something in the middle of the memorial. He said, this is where Charlie Kirk and I differed. He always wanted what was best for his enemies. I don't like my enemies, and I hate them. I don't want what's best for them. And I know it's wrong, and I know it's bad, but I hate my enemies. It's Trump. This is who he always has been. He's never changed. He's never been anything different. He said the exact same sort of stuff, and this is another example of that. And people out here, he should delete that. He should retract that. Guys, Trump is not going to retract anything, okay? In fact, he doubled down on it almost immediately. He was in the White House, and he said, well, this guy really did have some very, very bad TDS. I hated him, actually. I thought he was terrible for the country. What do you expect? Do you think Trump's going to one day wake up and say, I need a measured response. I'm going to put out a measured response. You guys are living in fantasy land if you think Trump's going to magically be different than he has been his entire life. This is the same person he's always been. It's not anything different. All right, guys, if you guys are joining me on the X space, you guys are welcome to come up here and join me on the show. Leave a comment if you got something to say. Make sure you tell me what you think about the show. If you guys can put comments. I do read the comments throughout the show. You can always put it up on X space, or you can put it in the Substack chat or any of the Restream chats, because that's where I can read them and throw them on the screen. So if you guys have anything else to say, you guys are welcome to join up on the show. You can come up and actually request for a mic, and you can ask me anything you would like. We got other stuff we need to get into. There's a really interesting investigation that happened out in Los Angeles. There is apparently a group of leftist terrorists that was... why is it some, absurd name? It's like the Turtle People or something. It's like, what? I don't know what. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? The Turtle Island terrorists. I mean, this is... Why is it always so stupid? Why does it have to be so ridiculous? These people are... absurd leftists, but apparently they were planning to bomb multiple places on New Year's. That was the plan. So that's an insane story that happened today. The meltdown continues over Trump with this. We've also got some other information. Apparently the FBI is not doing very much to help this investigation at Brown. So if you guys have anything you'd like to join in on and you want to chime in on, you're welcome to join the show now. I'm going to pull up some of the other stories that happened for today, but I'm Appreciate it for everybody who shows up on the show. And obviously, I've got a couple other announcements. So AmFest is this week. So this week, the show is going to change a little bit because while I'm at AmFest, speaking events are probably going to be hosted at the same time as the show. So I'll probably try and do an early afternoon show. It'll probably be early afternoon from the hotel. Maybe I'll have special people from the events or something, from people from Turning Point that are there. Maybe, who knows? I haven't even planned that far ahead. So I just know that I'm going to be there during the entire event. So that'll be Thursday and Friday, Saturday. Sunday, I should be back in time for the show. Or, well, I guess it's weekend, so I don't do the show anyway. But if I have a weekend event, I'll probably make sure I do one when I get back on Sunday. That'll probably just be on X Spaces. But as far as the regular show, Thursday and Friday, I'll have a different time for it. And I'll announce that probably Wednesday once I figure out my schedule. And once I figure out the speaking schedule. Because there's like 60 people that are talking, and I'm not... some of them I'm not interested in and I've never heard of and I don't care about. But there's a bunch of people I do want to see. And I assume all the people that I want to see are probably going to be like 8, 9 o'clock speakers, which is, that's when keynote speakers are. So I assume that's probably how that's going to work. Let's see here. Okay. Let's get a couple people. If you guys want to join the show and you want to come up here and talk, you guys are welcome to do so. You just have to request on the X Space to come up here and speak. And let's see here. Have any requests now, so I'm just going to continue with the show. So obviously I'm looking forward to AmFest. There should be a lot of interesting things that happen out of that. Obviously, if there's any other information we get right now on the investigation for the Brown University, I'll bring that to you guys as we go through that. So what I'm going to do now is I think we're going to go over some of these videos of these ridiculous, just absolutely terrible videos and everything that they've been putting out to try and talk about this investigation, because this stuff is just so absurd. It's so bad. It's not even like funny how stupid this is. My favorite, like the videos, images of this, like how is this the best video that we can get? There's someone put out it was hysterical earlier. Someone put this video out it was an image, like a side-by-side. It showed Mars and then it showed Brown University shooter. And the image on Mars is significantly better. I mean, it's just hysterical to me. You got to love this. The level of incompetence that we're seeing here is something truly to behold. So hold on a second. I'm going to put this video up. So these are the most recent videos. If you guys haven't seen these yet, I don't even know if there's any audio with them really, but you can see what I'm talking about. This is the best we've got. This is it. And by the way, I don't even know if you guys can tell, does this even look like the same person from the new videos that have come out? It doesn't really look like the same person to me. The person from the day before looks fat. This person, especially the first video, it doesn't even look like the same person. It doesn't. I mean, I'll put the other video up so you guys can tell me what you think if you think it's different. But I don't think it's the same person. It doesn't even look like the same person. It doesn't even look remotely close to the same person. But of course, we don't know because they're so tired there. It's difficult for them. They can't figure it out. So, and by the way, I don't want to be rushing around because they might have to restart the investigation if we upset them because it's so challenging. Oh my goodness, they may have to restart the whole investigation if I keep going. So, this is the previous video or the new videos that have come out. And I want to show you the most recent videos that just came out on this, showing, across this is somewhere across the street or something along those lines. So let me pull these up here so you guys can see the difference, because I'm telling you, I don't think this is the same person. I mean, it just doesn't look like it to me. Hold on a second, I gotta get the right videos here. 0 Hour probably has them up. There we go. So this is these two videos. They released these. Obviously, the one on the right is the very first video that came out. But these are the new videos that came out today that they're trying to claim somehow these are related. Now, here's an image of this guy. Now, tell me, that doesn't really look like the same body and shape as the previous person. I don't know if you guys believe that, but that's what it looks like to me. And here's the Fox News version of
individual walking.
This is this guy here. This, again, does not look like the same body and shape as the previous person. This guy looks huge and fat. The other guy didn't look fat like this. Okay, I mean,
And this is prior.
It doesn't look like the same person at all. No, I agree with you. There's a couple other people that are commenting saying that. It does not look like the same person. It just doesn't. And they're claiming this is the same guy. He's like significantly wider than the previous person. But this is what they're telling us. Oh, yeah, this is it. Now, and by the way, this is also just a person of interest. I mean, look at the difference there. Seriously. There's no way that's the same person, right? I mean, it doesn't look like it at all to me. So, but here's again, no one has any idea if this is the same person or if they're intending it for it to be the same person. That's just a person of interest that was standing outside of the place the day before, by the way. This isn't on the day of. So who knows? These people are idiots. Was it snowing? I don't know if it was snowing, but it doesn't look like it in either of the videos. It doesn't look like snow. But I mean, again, though, I'm just saying the difference between the two, I don't see even remotely how this looks like the same person. Doesn't look like it's me at all. Looks like a completely different person. But, they're not even telling us why. So, we have no reason, we have no explanation on why this guy is related to the investigation, who he is, whether or not he actually is part of the investigation. No one has any idea. Because, again, they're just so, oh, my goodness, it's so challenging for them. You freaking idiots, man. It really is. Yeah, the gait is different as well. I agree. One of them looked like they were walking a bit. I mean, of course, if the other video was supposedly with the day of and he was escaping, maybe that's why the gait would have been different. He's more walking with purpose. But again, I'm talking about just the physical body shape. I mean, just look at I'll pull a still image of this. Okay, so here's the physical body shape of this guy, right? Looks like a potato. I mean, I don't know. It looks like a potato. And then you go to this guy on this one. And here's the initial video. That doesn't look like the same size person at all. I mean, maybe it's just because it's a different camera angle, but no. So, of course, we don't know if they intend for this to be the same person because the Providence, Rhode Island police is just so helpful in all this. They have no idea what's happening. Now, there's also other video going on here, but apparently they're not even releasing any of the information because they don't even know if this guy said something beforehand. Now, there's been reports that apparently during this, and this is the police chief's response to this, apparently the police chief said at some point, or someone asked the police chief directly if there was something that was shouted before the investigation or before the gunman started open firing. And this is the response from the police chief, which is just lackluster as well.
Before the shooter yelled something right before his shot came in. Could you tell us what that was?
Yeah, it's part of the investigation, John, and we'll, yeah.
Now, the only reason I asked that, though, is, for instance, like with the Unabomber, his brother recognized the writing. So it's possible a friend or family member might recognize if the person said something that was significant.
Correct.
So that's why you don't, other than the 9mm, is there anything else inside that auditorium that you could tell us?
No, that's correct. And listen, like I said earlier, investigations will bring us to evidence that we need to collect in order to be able to prosecute.
With
that being said, we're going to continue to collect evidence, and if it leads us to something to that nature that's going to be extremely helpful for us to identify somebody, we'll be the first ones to put it out.
Alex,
Did you guys catch that? Did you catch what he said there? He just gave the most useless answer that I've ever heard. What was it he said specifically?
we couldn't hear anything.
I can't hear you at all. Where are you at? Oh, you're on the. Oh, sorry. If you're on the X space, that might be why you can't hear anything. I'm listening. I'm playing it on the live. Must not be connected. I'll connect it now and see if it works. There we go. Is it back and working now, Jacktron?
Well, I'll play the video and I can tell you.
Okay, hold on a second. I'll replay this so people can hear it again.
Is, for instance, like with the Unabomber, his brother recognized the writing. So it's possible a friend or family member might recognize if the person said something that was significant.
Correct.
That's why you don't, other than the 9mm, is there anything else inside that auditorium that you could tell us?
No, that's correct. And listen, like I said earlier, investigations will bring us to evidence that we need to collect in order to be able to prosecute. With that being said, we're going to continue to collect evidence, and if it leads us to something to that nature that's going to be extremely helpful for us to identify somebody, we'll be the first ones to put it out.
Alex, follow up on John's question.
So that's what I'm talking about, though. And now, you guys aren't listening on the space now. Sorry, I didn't realize the space wasn't working. I'm playing it on live, so the space is always broken, so I barely pay attention to it. Sorry, guys. But you heard what he said, though, right? I mean, the idea was he said, we are doing an investigation, and if we get evidence for this investigation, that's why we use it, so we can have evidence to prosecute. That's why we collect evidence in an investigation. Well, fucking helpful. Thanks, dude. Like, what the hell does that mean? You just described what the purpose of an investigation is. Is that what I'm like? Is that what I'm supposed to understand? That was the dumbest statement I've ever heard. He's like, and of course, we're going to continue to look for evidence so that we can prosecute. Has this guy ever done anything before? This is the police chief that rode his camel across the state to get there, by the way. He was 8 hours late, and then no one has any idea what he was doing. But, you know, they claimed he was an hour away in Rhode Island. But yes, that was very entertaining listening to Perez explain to us that they're going to collect evidence so that they can use it to prosecute. Wonderful. Thank you. Very helpful. I don't know what these people are doing. But all of them, again, they continue to get worse and worse. It's not just this one. They continue to get worse. There's another video of these people. I think I probably have it right here on this clip here. Because the next one where it's that's the other day. Let's see here. This is one where this video here, this is where they decided to tell us that the Ben Erickson person was released. So this is the statement from the Ben Erickson release. They just, you know, he's the person we had
shortly, we will be releasing the person of interest who had been detained earlier today.
Because this state fucking sucks.
The rationale for that.
Because you're idiots.
So that is the after they told everybody, you know, that this is the number one person, whoever it is, that's what happened after they released this guy. Here's the mayor coming out here to talk about this as well, and this is just as a travesty of a statement as the police chief.
President Donald Trump has said that Brown University is to blame for this shooting and saying it's the school's problem. Is that a fair criticism, or do you disagree with what the president said?
I don't think it's fair criticism.
Colonel. Can you expand on that?
Why not? Because Brown University is not collaborating with you guys. You're lying to the press over here. They have facial recognition. We know that because they follow the students, they follow everybody in the neighborhood. Facial recognition. They need to release that data so everybody know who the guy is in the video. We got the video Saturday. Why you guys release the video today?
Governor, this is the question.
Listen, Colonel, I have just
John, please, just for a second. A couple things. First of all, Brown University and Brown Public Safety, Brown Police Department has been a close collaborator throughout this process.
That's not true.
I do not accept that criticism.
Oh, come on. We know that.
Secondly, everyone you see behind us, we've all been working for now 49 hours. We're tired.
We're tired. Oh my goodness. You poor baby. Good Lord. This is a disaster. You know, again, I mean, just, it's like, what are they doing? I mean, this, oh my God, we're so tired. You know, then, did you hear what the guy said? He said that they have facial recognition stuff. Now, I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I have heard that Brown has something along the lines of 800 plus cameras, and they still can't figure out who it is. So, I mean, I don't know. This is a full scale, like I said, biblical levels of incompetence. That's the best way to describe it. Biblical levels of incompetence. These people are idiots. I mean, just holy shit, man. I mean, I feel if you want to commit crimes, Providence, Rhode Island is the way to go, because they have no idea what's going on. I mean, they have no clue. They don't even know. How is it possible in this age there's not 45 videos of this person in every single... Someone just said in one of the streams, by the way, that apparently they don't even know who was in the room. What? I mean, just... My goodness, people. It is really, really amazing. I don't know how it can get any better. I mean, it's never ending. So I assume that tomorrow they're going to come out and say that the guy that they released on video isn't even related to the investigation, and they're sorry that they released that. You know, I don't know what's happening. So I assume we'll find out more from, you know, the crew of people that are so tired they can't do anything. Even though
take over the investigation.
What now?
The FBI just needs to take over the investigation. Just let Dan and Cash handle this.
I mean, apparently. I mean, that would be the only way it could happen, because right now, I mean, earlier, I'm not going to lie, guys. I saw some of the FBI people earlier that didn't look like they were helping much either. But I don't know if Dan and Cash are not involved in this. I mean, obviously, they just had a massive bust out in L.A. for a much bigger case. So, I mean, you can't expect the heads of the FBI to show up for every single investigation. But apparently...
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't mean Dan and Cash themselves. I just mean, you know, the people under their command.
Right. Well, I mean, again, you can't have the top people work on every single investigation. But who knows? At this point, I've just never seen... The leadership out of Providence is a catastrophe. I mean, an absolute catastrophe biblical epics are going to be written about how stupid these people are. It really is amazing. They're so tired. These people. Oh my goodness. Poor Ben Erickson. The first Ben Erickson, by the way, the one that was apparently the first image that got floated around, the cyber warfare officer. He wasn't even in the state. Was nowhere close to it. And the Wall Street Journal, they actually did their diligence and called them and called the mother or figured out who his mom was and called them. And he was like, oh, he's in Wisconsin. He just got back from Milwaukee. Like, okay, thanks. Helpful. The next one, no one's even talked about the fact that the other one that they listed, that they released the name of Ben W. Erickson, who's apparently an Army rifleman or something like that went to Brown for, had enrolled in online classes or something like that. No one's talking about him anymore, but I also haven't seen any statements from his family or anything like that either. So who knows? No one has any idea. And it really is amazing when absolutely no one has any clue what's happening. So I assume in the next 48 hours, they'll tell us that they have to restart the investigation again and somebody else will be brought in. But until then, there's still a gunman at large somewhere in Rhode Island. I mean, if he's still in the state or in the country or anywhere, because they have no idea who he is. So if anything else changes than that, we will make sure we update you guys throughout the show. But we've got other stuff we can get into. I do want to play a bit of this information about this Turtle Island investigation because this was pretty interesting. So I do want to play that. This was an investigation out in L.A. that apparently a group of radical leftist terrorists were intending to bomb multiple targets during the New Year celebration. Now, why they're called the Turtle Island, what the intention of this was, I don't know. Why it's the turtles or something. I assume it's a radical green something group. That's always how it is, because apparently the best way to save the environment is to blow shit up. I mean, that's I don't know why that's a logical thing for them, but this is the most recent statement on this.
Well, it's not just blowing shit up; it's also gluing your hands to famous paintings.
Well, that's the best way to fix things. I actually really like the people that show up and do it with concrete. I mean, if you're stupid enough to glue your hand to concrete and use concrete glue to do that, by the way, you deserve every bit of how much that's going to suck to even attempt to get that off. I mean, that's entirely your fault. And I don't know how they convince people to be dumb enough to do something like that. I mean, gluing your hand to asphalt is just incredible. I mean, incredible stuff. I'll never understand it. But anyway, so this is the information from the FBI out in Los Angeles talking about the Turtle Island investigation here.
I'll highlight some of the items found during those searches over the weekend. For example, in Carroll's residence, law enforcement found multiple posters and materials associated with Turtle Island Liberation Front, including posters stating, quote, "Death to America, long live Turtle Island and Palestine," and, quote, "Death to ICE, Turtle Island Liberation Front." In Page's residence, law enforcement found a copy of the detailed bomb attack plan. This case is another reminder about the dangers that radicalized Antifa-like groups pose to public safety and the rule of law.
So I don't know what exactly Turtle Island has to do with Free Palestine, but, whatever. I mean, this is how it goes, apparently. For the Turtle Island Liberation Front, they're going to liberate Turtle Island, I guess. I mean, I don't know. These people are unbelievable. I mean, what is this? Let's see here. That's what the Indians used to call America, Turtle Island. Oh, okay. Well, did they know that we conquered them, right? We know we conquered all of the American Indians. In fact, there's a bunch of people that talk about this, but I'd like to remind people that the Turtle Island, the American Indians got conquered consistently by each other, but we were the only ones that were conquered them so hard that we then carved our faces on the rocks that used to be theirs. That's what Mount Rushmore is. It used to be like some special Indian location. We beat them, we killed them all, and then we put our faces on the rocks so that they can never remember. They can always remember who it was who conquered them finally. But they don't really like that, I guess. But I didn't know that the American Indians used to call this Turtle Island. I didn't think they had any written language for that to matter. So I'm not sure that's accurate, but I do find it funny. So, But the Turtle Island Liberation Front, they were definitely going to accomplish a lot of good things by blowing things up for the environment. Gotta love it. What's up, Chris? How are you, my friend?
I'm still drowning in my sorrows of how Chiefs season ended. So, but I will say that I've been kind of reading up on a few things that's been pretty frustrating, actually. specifically, I don't know if you saw tonight, another Clinton judge has ordered the documents, according to Mike Davis, has ordered the documents in the Comey case to be destroyed.
What now?
Yes.
Of course
you heard
they have.
that right.
Oh my goodness.
So this Virginia Clinton judge, right? Obviously this case is being appealed, and a new case or something's come. I don't even really know at this point because it's so insane. And then all of a sudden, this D.C. judge, another Clinton-appointed judge, who was I think recommended or whatever from someone, I don't know, whatever, hardcore Democrat, activist judge in D.C., ordered by Monday that the Department of Justice and FBI destroy all the evidence used against Comey.
Unbelievable.
But that they send a copy of everything to the judge who ruled against them when it came to Comey.
Unbelievable. Let me see
I'll
this.
send you the link. It's crazy.
Send me the case. I want to pull it up here. I want to see if I can find the article.
Here's the frustrating part about it. Okay, this is where I'm at, because I'm trying to remain positive about, but obviously, I think this is a broken record when I say this, Walter, and we've said this often. But at this point, I kind of blame the House Republicans for the shenanigans and the judicial behavior getting this far. You know what I mean? They have the authority to redraw, to eliminate the DC circuit. They have the authority to redraw the boundaries of these districts, or to remove caseload and send it to others, or whatever they wanted to do. And they have chosen not to do it. And it only takes a 1 vote majority, 51 votes, to make that happen. And so for me, it's a little frustrating, because I'm like, dude, like, what more are we going to tolerate? What this is case precedence that these judges are doing. I don't think people understand that.
Unbelievable. So I'm reading through some of this stuff here. This is U.S. District Court Judge Cameron McGowan Curie, Bill Clinton appointee, dismissed the indictments against Comey. Or so this is the same person. This is the same person. So that effectively tells the FBI to wipe key evidentiary trail tied to the former director's obstruction case, and to do so quickly. The move drops the Justice Department to a separation of power storm, at the same time trying to salvage its prosecution of the man who helped ignite the trust. I mean, this kind of stuff is what pisses people off. I mean, this is the real problem we're having as a country. The accountability aspect. If we can't get any accountability for anybody, is that really what we're learning here? The Democrats, when they're in power, they can arrest anybody and everybody for anything at any time. But when we try to do it, they can't arrest a single person. And Kilmar Abrego Garcia, they couldn't even arrest him. They had to release him, and he's not even here legally. I mean, it's just this. The intention of all of this is obviously just to prove that they own the courts. It's the power play that they're trying to claim. That's what all of this stuff has been.
Well, and this is the crucial part of when you're cooing your president, right? When you're cooing a government and you're trying to overthrow the authority. People could call it a color revolution, whatever you want to call it. I call it just a coordinated operation to undermine the government, undermine the current administration, and try to take the majority. And guess what's going to happen if they do take the majority in the House? They're not going to be so kind. Right? They're going to launch impeachment investigations. They're going to launch immediate impeachment. I would argue they're going to launch immediate impeachment investigations and criminal investigations into almost every single cabinet member, if not every single cabinet member of this administration. And so this is I feel like people don't fully understand the craziness and the seriousness at the same time of the new left. They don't understand it. I don't think that they even believe that it could happen. That's how out of touch I think a lot of these Republican leaders in DC are.
Apparently so. By the way, I need to correct the name. So the name of the judge is Kolar Kotelli, and that's the decision is to try and wipe all of the communications between Comey and Richmond. That's the intention. So they want to wipe all of this stuff. I don't know how they can order that, though. I mean, it's just, again, but they don't care. I think that's part of it. They just don't care. They just do whatever they need to do to make sure that this gets moved along. So this is obviously a play for them to try and push out his statute of limitations. That's all this is. They know that they won't get away with actually being able to wipe it. So what they'll probably do is they're trying to get it out another 6 months. Because if they get out 6 months, then it wipes the statute of limitations part out of it. And that's what their intention really is. They're trying desperately, no matter what they can do, to push the statute of limitations out further. That's what they want. That's really what they want here, which is just ridiculous.
And so by doing that, they're pushing the statute of limitations because they know another case is about to be filed against him. And so they want to remove all evidence. It's the same thing. It was the same thing like whenever you guys remember the Stormy Daniels situation with Trump, right? and a court had ruled against her and levied a massive fine, or they had to repay President Trump. And then all of a sudden, the exact same thing was put back in court, and they found a jury to rule against President Trump. Right? Like, this is the insanity of the left. Like, this is why, like, when a Supreme Court rules, I don't remember who the judge is, Walter. Remember, that's a current judge. Supreme Court rules against this judge. It got all the way that high, and the judge still continued to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, everyone acts like this is something. The left was changing laws to be able to be able to prosecute President Trump. That's how far they were going. I mean, that's the kind of stuff they were doing. I mean, they were changing laws in New York State so that they continue to be able to prosecute him. I mean, they don't care. They don't care at all. And the Republicans, this is why I keep saying that they don't either have any intention of helping, or they don't want to help, or they don't want to be part of it. They don't care. They're not doing anything. They're not fighting. They're not trying to win. They don't want to actually be able to push them back. They just want to kind of just coast along here. And it's not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work. If the Republican Party doesn't get a move on and actually get some stuff done and actually hold some of these people accountable, they will never win anything ever again. Okay, that's what's going to happen. They're never going to win anything ever again. And I'm not going to be surprised by it. Why would anybody be surprised? Because if you can't manage to actually hold any of the agenda forward, actually push any of President Trump's stuff forward, they're not even looking like they're fighting. Like I said, there's one person, I think Andy Ogles is like the only congressman that's trying to move forward on impeachment stuff against some of these judges. And I believe he's trying to go after Judge Boasberg, which Judge Boasberg should have been impeached already. He should have been impeached months ago. I mean, this guy should have been impeached almost immediately. I mean, especially after they found out that he approved all of the FISA warrants on sitting senators. This is the kind of stuff that can't happen. But, we're still, again, living in a world where the Republicans don't do shit, and then they wonder why people are mad at them. Well, you're not doing anything. Trump can be in there and doing all he can, but it doesn't matter if you don't prosecute and bring some stuff forward. The DOJ absolutely needs to get a move on. And I keep saying that I think Pam Bondi has got to go at this point. She's not made it. She has not done it. I don't care if people think that they like her or whatnot, or, whatever Trump says he likes her. But seriously, arrest somebody for the love of God. I mean, you just have to. You have to get these people in prison. And I know that they have the courts packed and whatnot, but figure it out. I don't know what you have to do. But, the left managed to arrest everybody in the country easily. So why we haven't managed to arrest people at all is shocking to me. And again, I keep talking about it, but, if we don't manage to have some sort of accountability for all of the intelligence officers that tried to overthrow the country, then what the hell's the point? What are we even doing?
Yeah, that's right. But have no fear, guys. Have no fear. These Republicans will be on your TV and on your your social media, and they'll have their little banner ads and their ads in social media and on TV talking about how they supported Trump's agenda and how they're committed to holding the left accountable. And the truth is I think a lot of them just like being in the minority, so they don't have to do anything and collect a paycheck.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. I think the other thing is, I know a lot of them just really actually just hate Trump. That's what the real thing is. There's a significant portion of the Republican Party, of the old guard Republican Party, that just hates Trump. They just hate him, and they didn't want him to be there in the first place. So whatever they can do to stall until the point that he's not in office anymore, that's what they're going to do. And it's bullshit, but that's just how it is. This is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that's right. They also believe that because they have an R behind their name, that they don't have to do anything. They can wait him out, and that the Republican voter will support him anyway.
And they're just dead wrong about it, man. That's the thing. I don't understand how you get that through to them, because there's nothing. There is no support for these people. If Trump is not on the ballot, okay, and they haven't accomplished any of his agenda at all, they're not going to win a shit. No one's going to vote for these people. It's not going to go well for them, not even remotely. And I don't know how you get that across.
It just got even worse. Here, look. James Comer is postponing the Bill and Hillary Clinton depositions from this week to mid-January. He says he will bring contempt proceedings if they don't comply. This is, I guess, related to their connections to Epstein.
Well, I'd love to say that that's going to happen, but, I don't even know how are you going to arrest them? Apparently you can't arrest anybody. So guys, something better change. Okay. That's the only thing I can say is they better change something. They better manage to move forward with somebody. I don't care how they do it. They better move forward with something at some point because this is getting out of control. And now we're over a year. Like we're going to be in a year at this point, and nobody is going to have been arrested. No one's going to be held accountable at all for anything. And that's just not acceptable. Okay. I mean, that's not going to fly. And especially with the voters, the people that wanted accountability, you better get it or they're not going to be happy. And I'm not going to be happy. I'll tell you right now. I mean, I keep saying it. What is the point if we don't have these people held accountable? If all the people who opened up counterintelligence operations on the president of the United States, if we don't throw those people in prison, what the hell is the point? What are we doing? I mean, I don't see any way to fix that other than there must be something done. I mean, back in July, when they came out with all this stuff showing that there was the ICA report that was doctored and, Tulsi Gabbard came out and said that Obama was treasonous. They spent a lot of political capital when they came out saying that sort of stuff. And I have yet to see anything to show for it. And that's a problem. Okay, you spent a lot of political capital coming out and saying that.
As well just start trying to figure out how to hold rallies outside the DOJ and say arrest somebody.
I mean, seriously, at this point, just go get billboards and put them up outside of Pam Bondi's office so she can see them. Arrest somebody. Do it. My God. You can't do anything. Apparently, you can't even deport one illegal immigrant. That's the other crazy thing about all this. Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been released from custody. I mean, that's beyond me. How they can't get rid of a single illegal immigrant that's here just because of what? I don't even know what the reasoning is that he's staying here. That guy should have been deported months ago. Anybody that we don't want here should be deported. Okay, let's see here. So I just pulled up a couple things. Apparently, Trump has now filed a $10 billion lawsuit against the BBC, which that's new. So that's going to be for the doctoring of the J6 speech footage, if you guys don't know what that was about. But a $10 billion lawsuit, so that's how many media companies has he sued now this year? 5, 6? But,
I think he sued ABC, sued CBS, suing BBC. So I count 3.
Didn't he? But he already won one against somebody else. ABC already won one. CBS, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm overcounting here. Well, he's suing the Wall Street Journal right now. So he's suing the Wall Street Journal right now, and now he's suing the BBC. So that's 5, right?
Was it an NBC?
No, I'm saying right now he's in the middle of lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, but I'm saying wasn't it NBC that settled with him already?
Well, NBC and ABC did both, and then so did CBS. He's already won 3 of these things. I know that. But I mean, now he's going after the Wall Street Journal for their stuff they did with the stupid Epstein letter. And now he's going after the BBC for them doctoring the footage on the J6 stuff. I keep telling people that what this really is going to end up being is it's going to be the Trump library, like the presidential library, is going to have different wings, and it's going to be all funded by all the people that he sued, which is just going to be hysterical. And he's going to call it the BBC wing and the Wall Street Journal wing and, the ABC and the George Stephanopoulos wing. I mean, that's going to be great.
Yes, that's right. Especially in the holidays, George Snuffleupagus.
That's right. I love it. I mean, that's going to be great when the presidential Trump library is going to be amazing. Because you know what the first part of that is going to be? You're going to walk in and it's going to be a giant 20 by 20 photo of the mugshot. That's what that's going to be. That's exactly how that's going to look. So that's going to be your entrance to the library. And then each wing will be which place he's sued to get the wing paid for, which will be also amazing. I'm very much looking forward to it. All right, I brought a couple other people up on stage. A new speaker, Dawn. And what is up, Southern? How are you?
I'm great. Something happened today, and I don't see anything going to happen. Senator John Kennedy has the email of the Democrats saying we got to be quiet about this fraud in Minnesota because we don't want to lose voters. So they all knew. That meant Tampon Tim knew. And they kept it quiet, and they let it happen. And Senator Kennedy gets up in front and starts talking about it and has an email of them communicating to do this. And I don't think anything's going to happen.
Well, and this is, again, back to the same problem, right? Arrest somebody, for the love of God. I mean, just, what is the purpose of us having laws? I mean, really. And this is what's crazy about it to me. What is the purpose of us having any of these laws if nothing can happen to them, even if they do break them? I mean, that's what drives me crazy about this. We know that they're doing crimes. We know that there's billions of dollars being committed in fraud, and no one gets arrested. No one gets arrested at all. And this is the stuff that you cannot continue this. Something must change somewhere. If you got to fire the entire DOJ and start over, then do it. My goodness. But again, this all leads back to Pam Bondi. Okay, Pam Bondi is obviously not strong enough to be able to do what she needs to do in that organization. This place should be running like an iron fist, and all of the people should be fired. Everybody that works in the DOJ should be fired. I don't care. I'm sure it'll be very, very detrimental, and it'll cause all kinds of hellish problems. But the problem is then how do you staff it? And that's, I guess, becomes the next issue, because they have to have attorneys that are going to restaff. And all the attorneys have been corrupted. So I don't know. You got to come up with something. Start giving people law degrees that, all they have to do is show up and read a statement or something saying that they understand what the law is, and then they get to prosecute. I don't know. Figure it out. Use ChatGPT. Maybe ChatGPT lawyers will prosecute people better. That'd be better. All right, a couple new speakers on stage. So what is up, Jay, and what is up, Dawn? Going once? No. Okay. Well, anyway. So if anybody who does want to come up here and join the show, you're welcome to do so. If you guys are listening to the other platforms, if you would like to join the show and actually call in, you want to ask questions, you want to talk about anything that's going on in the news, you guys are welcome to do so. You got to go to x.com, go to @WC Dispatch, and you can join the show and chime in for whatever you want to say. If you guys are following on the other platforms, I do read the show. I do read the comments throughout the space, and I try to keep up with as many of the comments as I can, so you guys are welcome to leave a comment. Make sure you guys go to WCDispatch.com and subscribe there. That's the best way you can support me and support this show, is either to subscribe on WCDispatch.com, or you can subscribe on X right here on my profile. I've got a lot of stuff coming up this next year, guys. There's a big announcement I got coming at the beginning of the year that I'll be talking about a lot more extensively here pretty soon, and there's going to be a lot of new content that's coming out, and a lot of it's going to be exclusive either on here or on WCDispatch.com, so make sure you guys check that out. What is up, Illini?
Hey, Walter.
How you doing, buddy?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing just fine.
I had something I think you'll find funny. I posted it in the Purple Pill down here. Everybody's kind of aware that Zohran Mamdani, won the election in New York City for mayor. And now everybody who's involved in New York City politics, particularly Democratic Socialist New York City politics, is complaining today about the worsening snow removal conditions. Nobody is shoveling the sidewalks, and they're all showing up to complain about the fact that property owners aren't doing this anymore. But they don't seem to realize that everybody's moved to Florida or New Jersey or Pennsylvania to get out of the city. I just find that hilarious.
Well, I mean, that's just, New Yorkers are in such trouble. I really do worry about the city of New York. I really do. I love the city of New York. I grew up going there all the time. I love that city. Mamdani is going to wreck it. I hope he doesn't. Okay. I hope he fails miserably at all of his plans and that none of them work. And then he never manages to accomplish anything, and that he gets purchased by special interest and they just make it a slightly more corrupt than it is now. That would be great. But something tells me that he'll find a way to fuck it all up. And I don't like that. I'm not a huge fan of that. But I don't believe that the theater kid that used to run a falafel stand knows how to run a multi-billion-dollar city. I just don't think he does. So I think he'll do a terrible job. What is up, MS66? How are you?
Hey, Walter, how are you? Good to see you. And I just wanted to say hi and to my buddy Chris too. And I see Cheryl in here. And just arrest somebody, please. I mean, Bondi from the get-go. And I'm very good friends with Booker Scott, and he hasn't liked her from the beginning. And I think he's been right all along. She just can't cut it. I mean, I don't know what's going on. And have you heard the rumors? And they're probably just rumors, but something about Bongino making a decision on whether or not he's going to stay? Is that just rumor? Or have you heard anything about
Listen, this is like the fourth time they've run that. Like, I don't know why they keep running it. It's like every month or two, like every 3 months or so, it's like Bongino is making his decision on whether or not he will stay with the FBI. Like, what? I mean, they keep running it. I mean, this is at least the fourth time I've seen that story this year. Guys, if Bongino is going to leave the FBI, like, I mean, I don't know if maybe it is for clicks. So that makes kind of sense, actually. But to me, if Bongino is going to leave the FBI, he's going to announce it. But I'll tell you one thing. I listened to Bongino for a number of years. You know, he wasn't like the only person I listened to. I didn't listen to his show every single day. But I'll tell you, just from the, you know, many, many hours of listening to him I did get, I doubt highly that Bongino is going to have given up his entire career doing what he was doing to work for the president for a year. I'm just saying. I don't think a year is a long enough period of time for him to say that he has accomplished what he needed to accomplish. I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
And
you know,
do you
he's
think
going to stick around.
Bondi's tying his hands for like the arrests and stuff? I mean, what the heck?
Well, I mean, he can't arrest. I mean, listen, the DOJ is the one that has to move forward with this stuff. They're an investigative unit. Okay. I mean, the FBI can arrest him after they get a referral to arrest them and whatnot, but they have to have the information. But the deal is all of the prosecutions and all this stuff, that all goes through Bondi's office. That's all Bondi, you know, and I don't know what the problem is there. I'm hoping to God that what they're doing is they're waiting to use it as a political cudgel in the middle of the midterms, but I see no evidence of it. That's the problem I really have, is that I don't see any evidence that they're actually going to do that. I see them struggling to be able to keep anything open for anybody. They can't get rid of one freaking illegal alien that's an MS-13 gangbanger. They can't keep the documents on James Comey. I mean, they can't do anything. So, you know, at some point, something's got to change and something needs to be done, because if these people all get away with it, we are so screwed. We are so screwed. It is going to be so shitty. It is not going to be fun. But at least, you know, all of the people that I know will be in the gulag with me, so it won't be that bad. You know, at least we'll be able to, like, talk through the walls or something if we're close by. Maybe it won't be cold. I mean, like, maybe they'll give us blankets or something in the gulag. That would be the hope. But, you know, something tells me it's going to suck. And it's going to suck a lot. And they're going to arrest all of us. I mean, that's the other part. I keep telling people this, and people think I'm joking. I'm not joking. Like, I'm telling you right now, they will arrest all of us. Every single one of us that talk about them badly, we will be in jail. They will put us in prison. I mean, they already tried before to completely ruin the lives of everybody that's involved. I mean, they removed people from the banking system. You know, if you guys don't think that they're going to be even more ruthless if they get back in control and they pack the court and make DC a state, yeah, you wait. That's not going to be fun for us at all. Go ahead, Jay. You have your hand up. No one can hear you, Jay. Sorry. You're going to have to drop down and come back up here if you try to talk.
Oh, my goodness. That's funny.
What is?
Oh, this is like the second time we've called on Jay.
Well, he's got it shows a hand up for me, but then, you know, he opened his mic and then nothing happened. So if he's not going to be able to talk and if he can't speak, then I can't hear him, or if somebody else can hear him, but I can't. So he'll have to rotate and come back up. Go ahead.
The thing, Walter, is to your point that you were making, right? Is okay. Even if before they start to debank all these folks, before they start to put them in gulags or do whatever they're going to do, they're still going to make an aggressive push to silence people on social media. The censorship, hyper censorship, will be back. You know what I mean? Like this, people don't understand. They're passing laws to force ICE to not wear masks. Meanwhile, they're allowing their protesters and their paid protesters to wear masks, to attack ICE and attack law enforcement.
Well, and they all get let out of prison the moment they attack law enforcement too. That's the other great thing.
Yeah, they're bailed out. They have bailed funds, right? And I mean, this is literally happening in all these other. I promise you, if you live in a Democrat county or a blue city or a blue state, and you go search tonight, I promise you, there's an ordinance or state law or that has passed already that you don't even realize, or is on the way to passing, that is going to call for ICE to be demasked and law enforcement, which means ICE and others, to be demasked. And they're also pushing for your local law enforcement to not coordinate with federal law enforcement. It's extremely dangerous it's a dangerous path they're going down, because this is the stuff that aids cartels. It actually, quite frankly, prohibits coordination to stop terrorist attacks and to stop things like we're seeing over here in Los Angeles. And it encourages ineptitude like we're seeing in Providence.
Well, the ineptitude in Providence is, like I said before, it is of biblical levels. They're going to write songs about how stupid the people in Providence, Rhode Island are. They really are. I mean, it is truly incredible, the level of incompetence that's going on over there. By the way, so a couple of people here are saying something along the lines of Hillary Clinton having a hospitalization event, being sent to the hospital with a blood clot. That is very, very old news. If you guys are not aware, that is 2012 when that happened. But I guess it's probably being resurfaced is because it's clickbaity. But yeah, no, that's super old. That happened many, many years ago. So that's I don't, as far as I'm aware. I mean, maybe she has another one, but I doubt it. And I think that's just resurfaced clickbait stuff. Okay, let's see here. If you have your hand up, Jay, you can go ahead and try again. But Southern, you also have your hand up, so go ahead.
Don Jr. just got engaged.
Don Jr. did?
Yep. His girlfriend, Bettina Anderson, are getting married. They just got engaged.
Is this his like fourth wife or fifth?
I don't know. I thought he just had one wife.
Yeah, so did Marjorie Trader Brown just got engaged.
I did see that. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She just she apparently is now. What's the guy's name? Brian Glenn or something like that, right?
What's from Right Side Broadcasting or whatever?
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. I mean, I don't know. Congratulations to them. That's good. I'm always happy that people are getting married so they can get divorced in a couple years. I mean, why not? So, what's that to be the second one?
Babies. We need more babies. We need more babies.
Yeah, but Marjorie Taylor Greene's like in her mid 40s to 50s, isn't she? She's not having any more children. Isn't she? Am I missing that?
She's that old, yeah.
Yeah, she's not getting more. She's not having any more children.
How about Bettina?
Maybe I missed this, but I thought Don Jr. was with Guilfoyle.
Oh, girl, dude. Okay, Chris, come on now, buddy.
That's a long time ago, dude.
You broke up with her a long time ago.
Oh man, dude, that shows you how much I paid attention to this.
Where you been? Where you been? Oh, you've been suffering.
That was like 2 years ago.
Trying to buy your.
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago at least.
Yeah,
she's an ambassador now.
I think they got rid of her for the ambassadorship. Actually, she was ambassador to Greece. I think they got rid of her for that. They didn't like something. Something happened with that.
That was the stupidest move by them. I mean, what in the world is she going to be an ambassador to Greece for?
I mean, what do you have to do for Greece though? Show up and ask them about their olives? I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, it's Greece.
Part Greek though.
Would you want
Well, they probably gave her some more lip filler.
Well, I do know that funny enough, I actually have a little bit of insight on this because I have some people that are actually Greek that are friends of mine. And they said that she was actually very popular. So, that's interesting enough. But, I don't think she stuck around in the role for very long. So, let's see. We've got another person here up on stage. What is up, Modu Su? Madao Su. What's up?
Hello, my friend.
What's up?
Hello, girls.
How can I help you? What's up?
I'm good, bro. And you?
Okay. This is a show, by the way, buddy. So if you have something to say and you want to ask something, you're welcome to chime into the conversation. If not, we're going to move on. All right. Nighthawk, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Walter. Kind of speaking of January 6th and the whole Tina Peters thing, did you see the thing from Jake Lang, what he's up to now in about 45 days about, I guess, going in there trying to free Tina Peters at the Colorado prison?
Listen to me. Just listen a minute. Okay, so I don't know Jake Lang at all. Okay, I don't know anything about him, but I will tell you that I can smell clickbait from like 1,000 miles away. And what he is doing is the most clickbait bullshit I've ever seen. Okay, like showing up and when he went up to Dearborn, okay, he showed up with a Quran and a handful of bacon and was beating a Quran with bacon. Okay, like I mean, just absurd, just completely absurd, ridiculous, unnecessary things to try and get clicks. And, he had some bus show up that he spray painted, and it's whatever they're doing. Okay, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what his intention is. I don't know if he's a good actor, a bad actor. I don't know anything about him. Okay, I don't know anything about him, but I'll tell you right now, the clickbait shit gets old. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of the clickbait kind of people, and that's what I'm seeing from him is a whole lot of that. I'm not seeing any real substance behind what he's doing. He's doing this like Islamic crusade thing where he's going around, with Qurans and pigs' heads and stuff, and it's like, dude, What I mean, I agree with the idea that we shouldn't have any Islamization in the United States. I agree with you. But what on earth does showing up beating a Quran with bacon do for that? That doesn't do anything. It doesn't do any. There's no substance behind that. That doesn't actually have any effect on the world. It just.
I was going to say, Matt Tardio kind of followed him around at the, I think that, was it El Paso or Plano, Texas? I'm trying to remember where that's at. Their little sort of Dearborn community there. And he was debunking several of the things he was saying, too. Like, oh, he was being GPS tracked with an Apple AirTag and stuff. I was getting that feeling like, I think he's just doing this for clicks.
I don't know what he's doing it for, dude. I don't know. But I'll tell you right now, if Matt Tardio is tracking him, he's fucked. That's what I'll say. Matt Tardio is a former Green Beret Special Forces. Don't screw with him. So if he's after him for whatever it is, there's nothing that Jake Lang will be able to get away with Matt Tardio going after him. So, whatever it is that he's doing, it's obviously going to get exposed pretty quickly. And if he's pissed Matt Tardio off or whatever it is, that was not the right person to upset. So, that's not a wise decision on his part.
Yep. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Again, I don't know anything about Lang.
I did include that video in the file today, Walter.
Which file? I mean, which video?
Yeah, it's under. I think it's under Tina. It's the video he posted.
Oh, okay. So let's see here. I don't see one that says Tina. Nope. Don't see one that says Tina.
Hold on, let me see. It should be there.
Yeah, I don't know what this one is. I do not know what this one is that you're talking about. No clue. But anyway, again, like I said, I don't know anything about Jake Lane. He might be a good person. He might be a bad person. But I'll just tell you right now, again, that, clickbait is not something that I'm interested in. And that's what I see a whole lot of out of that profile and that guy. So, Southern, you have your hand up. You're welcome to chime in at any point.
Okay. Boston. They are trying to provide homes and better rates for non-whites. And they've dug in. But Scott Turner came out of HUD and said he's investigating immediately. Why I trust him? When we had our Hurricane Helene in here in Western North Carolina, Scott Turner, once Trump got into office, we finally were getting money from the federal government. And Scott Turner got a call from a mayor saying there's a lot of DEI requirements in these contracts for funds that we can release. He said, stop it, put it on hold. 48 hours later, he fixed the problem and the funds went out with no DEI or any of this mess. But in Boston, they're trying to do that and they're pulling out the white people. The mayor of Boston had a Christmas party and no white employees could come. And
that I do remember. I remember hearing about that. They wouldn't let any white people to the party. I forgot about that.
Okay. And here's
that's
the funny
part about
part.
it.
She is Asian and she is married to a white man.
Well, that's
Now,
just so that you explained the problem then, Southern. She just didn't want her husband to go to the party. And you figured it out. Thanks for that. That explains it right there. She really wanted to have a party without her husband, apparently. So that answers the question.
He must be a serious beta boy.
Well, his wife is the mayor, and she tells him when he can't go to the party because he's white. He must be. I mean, that's the answer to that question. So you solved that one. She wanted to go see her boyfriend at the party, and he wasn't allowed to go. That's hysterical. That is hysterical.
But denying white people a fair opportunity.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is exactly what they want, though. This is the leftist position is that because we have destroyed the world or something, white people have destroyed the world, that we should never have access to anything, and we need to give all our money to the poor, oppressed, minority classes of the entire planet. Anybody except American citizens.
Walter, it should be there now.
Okay.
Hey, but Walter, that you have all of these leftists, Black people that are married to white people. I mean, it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It's just an oxymoron.
Well, you got to remember this, okay? Like, for the Marxist, hypocrisy is not a bug of their ideology, okay? It is a feature. They don't care. It is something that doesn't matter to them. They create a standard. The standard doesn't mean anything to them. If you notice, whenever they run a Republican black candidate, okay, the first thing they do is become racist towards that candidate. They don't care. Doesn't mean anything to them. The standard is irrelevant to them. They only use it because the right actually has principles, and they use their own principles against them because they feel like that'll actually upset people. This is something they've done for decades. I mean, this is the reason when you have an argument with people on the left and you're a Christian, okay, so say you're a Christian or Catholic, they'll say, well, Jesus would have said this. What aren't you Christian? What's the matter with you? Aren't you a Christian? Don't you believe in the teachings of Jesus? Jesus would do these sort of things, even though these people are godless heathens, okay? These people are Wiccans. Like, these people don't care about Jesus or know anything about Christ, know anything about your religion, but they will beat you over the head with it because they feel like it's a way that they can control what you're doing because they may be able to convince you that it matters to you. And they don't care at all. It doesn't mean anything to them. So whenever you hear them use something that's hypocritical, understand that they're doing that intentionally. It doesn't matter to them. The only reason that they're even bringing it up in the first place is because they think they can guilt you into doing things because of your ideology, because you have principles. And that's why the response should almost universally be, you don't know anything about it and you're a godless pagan and I don't give a shit what you think about me. That's how it should be. And that's what, unfortunately, we have a whole bunch of people on the right that, like just recently when he had the guy in Indiana, Trump said the R word, I can't vote for the redistricting map because Trump called someone retarded. Oh my God. Like, dude, you're retarded. Okay, you now are retarded. Like, that's the problem now. So these are the problems we run into in this country because we have these principled losers that only want to lose every single time, and they just want to accept. Well, at least I got to hold on to my principles. As the left burned the country to the ground and destroyed every monument we've ever had. Okay, sorry. Sorry for the rant.
That's my new favorite word, though, too.
But it's also, I think part of the crashing of the urban education system in predominantly black areas is on some parts by design, so that they don't even realize that their greatest leaders, that black American leaders of the past, Malcolm X, MLK, Frederick Douglass, we can go down the list of people, were all Republican. They were all Republican. Black Wall Street, Republican, right? Like, you can go down the list, and when you look back in the history and you look at everything when it came to the culture, the beautiful culture that they had in terms of music and jazz and all these things, these were all Republicans. And so it's not to say I'm not toting the horn of the Republican Party, but it is to say that these leaders today that pretend they have the best interests of black Americans today are the polar opposite of what their actual greatest leaders and philosophers believed. The black community is a very strong Christian community. What these people have done is insane, and been allowed to do has been insane. It's really sad, to be honest with you.
I agree, Christopher. Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood. Where do they put most of them? Black neighborhoods. What did the government do? Ooh, mommies, get babies, kick your hubby out, and we'll pay your bills. They broke up the family unit with blacks. Now,
So guys, I want to play this here because this is what Jack Sharon was talking about a few minutes ago about this this clip from Jacob Lang here. Now, I have a significant question after just seeing this in the first place, but the clickbait on the video is just so atrocious. Tina Peters prison break. That's the name of the video here. Okay, so I want to hear what he has to say here. Then I have a comment.
I just want to hear at the end of my life, well done, good and faithful servant.
Amen.
And then one day I could hear the Holy Spirit speaking to me, and he said, be a good Berean and read the rest of that verse. And so I went and I looked it up, and it said, because you have been faithful in the small things, I will give you governance over much. And so, what we are doing on this earth right now is kind of like a testing phase. It's a proving phase. God has given us free will to choose the right way or the wrong way, truth or a lie, and to see, because this is where we have free will to do those things, to know, because we will, the Bible says we will rule and reign with Christ. So if you want to be, on the forefront. And of course, humility is a big thing. You have to be humble. Reading this book, The Final Quest, the 3 books, the Final Quest, The Torch and the Sword and the Call. It outlines how if you want to be great in the kingdom, you need to be humble and be the least. And he will exalt you in due time. So,
Tina, you got me. You got my waterworks going, sweetheart.
So I don't know what exactly the purpose of that video is. So he just played Tina Peters on some recording. But my question here is, who the hell is paying for this? Seriously. A prison break? Are you joking? I mean, really that's what the intention is here? That they're going to break her out of prison? You're not even going to get near the wall. I mean, that's retarded. But the real question I have to have here is, who exactly is paying for a march to show up on January 31st at outside of a prison in Colorado? I have more questions now than I did before. But, maybe I'll get to go find out. So that's pretty interesting, I guess. Reasonably interesting just by seeing that in the first place. Because, no, you're not going to break her out of prison. Because, one, how the hell would you even accomplish that? Has anybody ever been to a modern American prison? You won't even get through the exterior perimeter fence. That's absurd. So I guess that's that's the new thing they're doing, though. They're going to have a Tina Peters prison break. And that's the current clickbait video that has been released. So I don't recommend people attend this event at all, actually, because I'll tell you right now, that doesn't sound like a good idea, even remotely. Go ahead.
Hey, Walter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why, we all know that Trump can only pardon federal crimes.
Yes.
And they worked around and charged her with state. So why would he put out the pardon if she's sitting in there for state crimes?
That's by design. They're going to take it to the Supreme Court. It's never been adjudicated that by the Supreme Court. This is a notion that people just assume based on other cases, but the Supreme Court has never ruled that the President of the United States does not have the ability to pardon state crimes. That's never been ruled. And I really do think that's the play. That's why they waited. And my personal opinion, again, this is purely speculative, is you notice the Venezuela situation and a few other things were happening at the same time. And I think after they got whistleblowers when it came to Dominion and some of these other things, out of Venezuela, I think that they believed at that point that they had enough concrete evidence to make the case to the Supreme Court. And I think that's where it's going to go. It actually is where it's going to go. So because there's going to be an appeal if he tries to pardon on state crimes, right? One way or another, it's going to go to an appeal, and then it'll have to be forced to the Supreme Court if they accept it.
Wait. Are we saying that we think that we went into Venezuela because of the voting machines and not because of the oil? Is that what I'm picking up?
No, I'm saying that Venezuela is in my opinion, is home to a series of problems in the United States, both domestically and foreign policy wise. Domestically, Dominion's headquarters is Venezuela. That is not in dispute. They have whistleblowers from the Venezuelan military, high-ranking whistleblowers, who have allegedly provided documented evidence of a host of things. On top of that, you have the Tren de Agua. You have, obviously the infiltration of the United States for the last 4 years under Biden. Okay, a lot of that came out of Venezuela. The crew on the left and some of these NGOs went down to Venezuela and trained under the Venezuelan military, received literally seminars on how to do what they're doing right now. That's documented fact. I mean, there's articles even in left-wing outlets that they went down there on a junket, right? And so there's a lot that's coming through, and of course you have China and everything that's being done on a foreign policy perspective. I completely agree with what Walter's statement is, both on the trade policy and foreign policy. It is all to counter China. China's our biggest enemy, in my personal opinion.
Well, I mean, there's a number of other things that'll tell you that, by the way, because we seized a freaking oil tanker. I mean, if you guys, it's nothing to do with the oil except we're seizing oil tankers. Yeah, sure. I'd love to hear that logic some more. But there's also, guys, hold on just a second here. I want to talk about something for a second. So the concept of pardoning from the president, pardoning state crimes. So I was actually reasonably curious about this. We've talked about it before. I've heard this theory before, and I was actually curious if this was true, that it's never been ruled upon. It is not true. 1922, in the United States versus Lanza, the court first explained that when both violates both state and federal law, they've offended two separate sovereigns, and then they can punish each independently. Crucially, the court noted that federal pardon does nothing to block a state prosecution. One pardon, one lane. So that is one ruling that has happened on that, saying that there is separation, which I've always thought was true, because I believe that the intention is that we are a republic that is joined together, and each state has its own sovereign authority within it. That is still true. So there's another one that would reinforce that principle in Heath versus Alabama in 1985, where the court emphasized again that the states have their own sovereign authority. So the president does not have the ability to pardon for that, and it has been challenged before and ruled before. So that is just something I wanted to bring out there, because I know this comment has been made before. So again, I don't know if it's going to ever be possible. Now, this specific case for Tina, I think the actual intention was that they believed that the crimes that she committed were federal crimes, but they charged them at the state level. I think that's what the intention was. And I think they might be able to have some sort of standing on that ruling. Now, that is a much more interesting way to pursue this. But the idea that we can somehow get the president's authority to overrule state authority, that's not true, and that's not how our system is designed. That's why we are a republic of multiple different states. So I just want to bring that out.
Oh, that's all fair, but I do think it's going to get adjudicated in the courts. But one thing is for sure is that if the court takes it, that's going to be a massive case as to the control of our elections and our elections process, because this was a federal election that took place.
Well, and that's what I mean, though. That's why I think they're trying to charge it. They're trying to bring it out, saying that it is a federal crime, and they charged it at the state level because it was a federal violation. Now, that has happened a few times, actually, and I've always thought that was nonsense. You can't charge state crimes at federal level. You can't charge federal crimes through the states. That's not legal. So, I mean, that would be the only way they could challenge it and change it, which would be interesting. But again, that would have to be adjudicated and brought forward, and it would be very interesting. So, but just to be very clear, the president has no ability to pardon for actual state violations at all. So that's just something I wanted to make sure we're clear on there. We've got a couple. Go ahead.
Two things real quick. I went back and looked up the Skipper, the ship that Trump took for oil.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it didn't have a registry, and under Article 110, the ship is without nationality, so they could seize it. So that worked, and the federal court issued a search warrant. They went on board, and they took it into U.S. waters. I love it.
It was also known that Venezuela has also been known to have these ships
for
Iran that have oil because they're protected.
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing. I mean, this is obviously this is all from a pressure campaign that's going against China, because there is also an Iranian move against an oil tanker over off the coast of the Persian Gulf. So that happened a couple days ago. So this is obviously all geopolitical stuff. But again, I'm very skeptical about the idea that anything we're doing in Venezuela has to do with the voting machines. I know a lot of people are talking about it, but I have yet to see anything that proves or convinces me that that's the reason we're there. I think the real answer is we're in a sort of Cold War with China, and anything we can do to pressure them on the world supply of energy is probably what we are focusing on. So that's the way I think.
It's also national security for us. Get the drugs, get them before they get into our country.
Oh, I mean, listen, it can tell one action can be used for multiple different reasons.
Oh, yeah, because China is laundering their money. So they're making money. They're making money on this. But I do think it's intentional. Venezuela is being pushed by China and supported to take us down for any way they can, and drugs is what they're doing.
Well, listen, there's other ways that they're doing things. Okay, I mean, there's also Venezuela supplies a significant portion of Cuba's oil, and if you cut that off, China has made a significant investment into Cuba, and they have a large amount of resources that they've moved towards Cuba. So if they cut off the oil to Cuba, and then you have more control over Cuba, there's a lot of geopolitical strategy stuff that happens around this. So the Venezuela is important for a number of reasons. Okay, Keymaker, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't notice if you spoke yet about Trump declaring through the executive order that fentanyl is a WMD now, a weapon of mass destruction. I didn't know if you touched on that yet. And I did want to say, when I was talking about Tina Peters getting broken out of prison, it was a joke. I didn't actually think that people would take it too seriously. So I don't know if they listened to us and thought we were serious, but yeah, it's not a good idea. You're not gonna
Oh,
break
I
someone
forgot
out of
about
a
that.
modern
We had
prison.
that joke the other day, didn't we? We did. These people listen to our show. These people listen to my show. They come in here and they get my ideas. Listen, we said the SEAL team was the only way that you were going to extract them. So, like, I mean, SEAL team extracting Tina Peters from federal prison, that sounds interesting. That's the only way that you would be able to do this. But holding a protest outside and calling it the March on the Bastille, sure. Good luck. Okay. Go ahead, Jared. You got your hand up. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I was actually just going to comment on the Tina Peters situation. Hey, Chris, I just don't think it's best to give people false hope and say that somehow the Supreme Court is going to hear our oral arguments on Tina Peters' case. That is not going to happen, right? I think there's a lot of other things that we have to adjudicate in this country, like whether a president can pardon himself, are pocket pardons legal. The likelihood that Tina Peters is going to get out of prison is close to none, right? This is
How
going to
about
be
pardoning for some, unspecified activities for 10
just
years?
one.
Okay. I just wanted to throw that in there, Jared.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not getting your question. Go ahead and rephrase that.
No, I was saying, how about pardoning someone for an unspecified crimes over the period of 10 years?
Yeah, but
like,
listen, all
Joe
that stuff,
Biden
all
did?
that stuff has to be adjudicated as well. But
Oh, yeah, for
to
sure.
Jared's point, what he's talking about is in the way that I said that the only way this could be possible would be if they're claiming that what she was charged for was a federal crime and that the state itself charged the federal crime at the state level. Now that I don't know, but again, this is all complicated and would have to be adjudicated at a very high level for them to even bring that forward. But I again have said multiple times, everyone thinking that we're somehow just one day we were going to magically get Tina Peters out of prison. I've said multiple times, I think the only way she'll get out of there is if the governor of Colorado pardons her, and that shit ain't happening. So, that's
Yeah.
my comment on it.
And it's not even just about Tina Peters. People have this idea for somehow that the Supreme Court is going to take up everything, right? Every dispute, every legal dispute involving the White House and something else. That's just not true. And Walter, I wouldn't even say I don't know, right? The Constitution is clear, right? Crimes against the United States. Crimes against the United
this,
States.
Jared, the point is not specifically that. Okay, the idea is if they were going to do this, they're saying that the crimes that she was charged with were federal crimes that were charged by a state. That's the question.
I see that point, but I just even looked that up, and I don't even think that's clear either.
It's not clear. That's the point. Like, it's not clear whether or not it's legal, because the reason it even makes any sense at all, and this to me, this is almost kind of a non-point, because to me I don't see it being possible either. I think it's very complicated even if they managed to do it. But again, the idea would be that because it was a federal election that this was referencing, that somehow the charge that they brought against them was based on a federal statute. So they charged at the state level for a federal statute for a federal election. Is that legal? Could they say that is not properly charged? That's, again, very complicated legal proceeding. I don't know how any of that goes forward.
Well,
So
I can tell you as the only person probably on this stage that's ever done the research to lead to a federal prosecution for in an election fraud case that I know of, at least in spaces in a long time, that if federal candidates are on the ballot, it is a federal election. Federal charges are then brought forth.
That's not true, Chris. That's not.
Well, Jared,
Yes, it
I
is.
understand, Jared, but what I'm saying to you is that there are people who, ironically, Jared.
Do you have examples? Because that's actually distortedly not true. I can promise you.
That's actually there is an example, and there's multiple examples of this being the case. That if you defraud an election with federal candidates on the ballot, then you are charged at the federal level with felonies. That is the case.
Yeah, Chris, I can tell you that is totally false.
That's not false.
We have
I can give you a 100-page document, man.
Sure.
And,
I mean,
what
please
you do is
send
you're
it
gonna
to
come
me.
here and you're going to say
Guys, hey,
Jared,
Jared, stop interrupting people, please. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that's the fact. And so this is what's going to be adjudicated. And I think it's an important election. I'm not saying that they're going to win this. They're going to win the case. I'm going to say, though, that this has been coming for a long time. Our rolls are loaded with dead people and illegal immigrants. Our census is being used by illegal immigrants to draw additional maps for Congress. And there is this election situation. And so I do think that we will see the court take up a case in regarding who oversees the elections when a federal candidate is on the ballot. And if that's the case, and they rule that it is that these are federal charges because federal candidates are on the ballot, then I think we will also see a move against individuals who knowingly had illegal immigrants in illegal ballots being voted, and those will be federal crimes versus state crimes.
Chris, I'll give it to you, but like I'll even say this: going back to 2020, in the quote unquote lawfare against former then President Donald Trump, his legal team didn't even use that in the state of Georgia, where Donald Trump and his co-defendants were indicted of trying to overturn the election. So Senator Raphael Warnock, right, a U.S. senator, Senator John Ossoff, a U.S. senator, right, those two U.S. Senate seats that gave the Senate power to the Democrats, Donald Trump or Rudy Giuliani never used that in their legal defense, right?
So that's just not relevant to my point.
It is relevant.
I could care less.
If I could just finish what I'm saying, it is really relevant because you have a federal election every other 2 years, right? Just because you have some federal candidate on the ballot, right? In case in point, Tina Peters is accused of she's not accused, she's convicted of tampering with a local Colorado voting machine and impersonation. That is not federal. That has nothing to do with federal. This is not voting rights. She did not go and like intimidate people and say, I'm going to commit arson at your house or something, right? So it doesn't stretch into like the Voting Rights Act type of things. If you have examples on this, I would love to hear this, but just because you have a federal candidate, that means like Madison Cawthorn, or if Jared Silver wants to go and mess with
Jared, are you saying that Tina Peters deserves to be in prison? Come on, man.
Seriously? Guys, hold on. Listen, I understand what Jared's saying, because he's not talking about whether or not she deserves to be in prison or not. He's talking about the way that she was charged. And I just went to double check some of the stuff that I wanted to look into here, because this has been talked about quite a bit recently, so I wanted to look into it specifically. She is not charged with anything out of the federal criminal code. She is charged with state criminal code. So again, this is what I've said before, is that it is very unlikely that there's ever a possibility. Now, I don't know if there's some sort of complicated way that you could claim that the way that they charged her was wrongfully charged, but then you'd have to figure out how exactly it was wrongfully charged, and that brings it into a whole other case and a whole other conviction and a whole other, like, this is all very, very, very theoretical to be even claim this in the first place, which is why I say I don't even really focus on it, because my theory is that because she's charged at the state level in a blue state with a blue governor, that she is not going to get out unless the blue state governor and the blue state legislator allows that to go forward, and somehow they, pardon her, which I doubt highly. So, it's not good. I don't think it's just, but I just don't think it's, again, I just don't think it's possible. So
Chris is right to bring this up as her defense. I think this would be a brilliant defense, right? But as regular Americans talking about this and like talking about, our laws and stuff, I think it's just willful ignorance. But for her, yeah, I mean, if she has a defense attorney, which I'm sure she does, I think that would be brilliant to say, let's throw everything against the wall. It's been reported that she's suffering some health problems in prison.
Right.
Which, I mean, sure, a lot of old people do. That doesn't make her, that doesn't, again, that's irrelevant of the conversation on whether or not she should get out. I think she should rot in prison.
Jared,
that's my opinion.
She's harmless. She's harmless.
There's a lot of harmless
guys,
people
listen,
in prison.
like none of
that's
that.
The conversation topic.
Guys, so the currently, just to give you an idea of what's going on here. So the current status is that she is appealing at the Colorado Court of Appeals currently. So she hasn't even had this gone up through an appeals court yet. So whatever it is that she's doing, she's obviously in the midst of an appeals currently. So we're talking about things that we have zero control over, that we have no idea what the current status of the case is, where exactly they're standing in that appeal scenario. It isn't even gone from the state to the Supreme Court of Colorado yet, let alone the U.S. Supreme Court. So all of these things, even if this was to happen, you're talking multiple years from now. Okay, so just to be very clear for everybody, I don't think that Tina Peters should be in prison. No, but she is in prison, and they convicted her at the state level So she has to work her way through the process, which would be the Court of Appeals, and then to go to the Colorado, Supreme Court, and then if that doesn't work, then appealing to the U.S. Supreme Court. But I don't even know. Like, again, you're talking multiple years into appeal process. This is just the way the judicial system works. Whether it's legal, whether it's good, whether it's bad, it hasn't even gone through its first level of appeal yet for us to even make any sort of determination on whether or not it is. So,
and that's my point. And that was the point I was making before Jared, called it willfully ignorant, is that it's going to go through a process, but there's a strategic reason why they did that. And the wording, the way who they sent the letters to, these are all things that were done with intent. I believe that the president's legal team acts with intent. Whether they end up losing or winning is irrelevant. They're doing it for an intent. And I think that in this case, if it is accepted by the Supreme Court, will have a massive impact on the way elections are conducted in the United States.
Well, it's possible. But again, we're not even at a Colorado Supreme Court level yet, which is what my point is. So again, maybe maybe this will be interesting in a couple years. But guys, I mean, arguing about something that can't be done currently is not really beneficial to anybody. I mean, Tina Peters, should she be in prison? I don't think so, but she is in prison. Okay, so she's not getting out of prison in the next 6 months, not in the next year. They haven't even got the appeals court. So, this is just how it is.
I think the most important part of, hold on real quick, Jared. The most important part about what happened to her was, without charging her the crimes that they did and making the claims against her that they did, if the facts actually pan out, right, and they're able to determine that the information that she validated is actually true, it means there was a massive conspiracy in the state of Colorado to violate everyone's voting rights. All citizens of Colorado's voting rights were inhibited by the actions authorized by the governor, the state's secretary, and their elections officials. I mean, you're talking about dozens of state employees would probably be going to jail, like getting arrested, if they took it seriously and the evidence panned out the way that she claimed it did. And I believe that they're charging her. It would be no different than if a criminal enterprise, caught you figuring out that they're, throwing stuff off of the back of a truck, and then they kidnap you and hold you in a box. That's what this Colorado stuff looks like to me from the outside. It looks like they found out that she had the actual evidence because she went and copied the information from the machines, which it was illegal. But that means she had the evidence. That means that if they validate that information that she stole from them, whether it was stolen or not, that means Colorado's elections were jeopardized, and it was done intentionally. And now who's responsible up that chain? That's going to be like a big different argument. In 2026, I'm telling everybody right now, in 2026, you're going to hear the biggest election, the 2020 election news ever. And it will reshape how, I think what Chris was saying, we can't go back in time. We can't change much of that. But in the future, I really think there's going to be a lot of changes to how elections are done and security around the election.
Listen, I would love to say that all these things, that there's going to be some sort of grand thing that is revealed here, but I don't live in that reality because I base myself entirely on realism, and unproven legal theories on things like that is just hopium. And I don't usually base anything on hopium. I say that if we're going to actually manage to do anything, that you're going to have to figure out how to actually prove this in court, and that has not been proven in court yet and hasn't even gone through an appeal process yet. So until we see anything real out of that, sorry guys. I mean, I'm not somebody that hopes and wishes and prays that there's someday going to be a magical thing that changes the way that all of the things in the country work that have worked in the same way that they've worked for decades. Just don't see it like that. That's, maybe it's possible, but we'll see. Okay, I've got a new hand here. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, what's going on, Walter? With all the different types of ballot fraud, whether it be the machines or 3 o'clock in the morning drops or the migrants voting or the no voter ID states that left the elections open after the polls closed, and all the different ways of ballot fraud that have been going on, considering the circumstances of Tina Peters' health conditions, isn't it abuse to keep somebody locked up in that situation?
Listen,
from a medical standpoint.
From a medical standpoint,
no, I'm serious.
From a medical standpoint, yeah. But I've heard this, that she is sick, that she's not having good health issues. Like I don't know any of this, guys. Like, does anyone have? I have yet to see documented true proof that she has serious medical conditions and all this stuff is happening. Okay, I don't know this stuff. All right. I
The
don't
question
base.
was cruel and
Guys,
the
just
cruel
hold on
and
a minute, guys.
unusual
Please,
punishment.
guys, please stop interrupting. Please stop interrupting for a minute here, okay? My point is, I have not seen direct evidence of these things that you're speaking about, okay? And if you provide them to me, I will happily look at them. But until then, I just hear lots of people saying lots of things, okay? Like everything I do is based directly on evidence that I can look at and verify myself. I don't really take the word of people, and this is just something that has been floated around, and people have said that Tina Peters is suffering from major medical problems. Do you have a medical document that shows that? Is there medical documents that prove that? Is the attorney coming out and saying that? Is there statements from the attorney saying that specifically? I have no idea. Okay, and if you provide them to me, I will happily look at them and I will give you an analysis on that. But I can't give you an analysis to tell you whether or not I think that she should be released from prison for, cruel and unusual punishment if I don't know if she actually has any medical conditions. Okay, what medical conditions are she suffering from specifically? Do you have that document? Do we have proof of those documents? I don't know. Okay, but if you give them to me and I'll look at them and I'll give you an analysis, but just saying things and just saying them because there's a lot of other people that are talking about them doesn't really do much for me. I base everything on whether or not I can prove it or not. You directly prove it with verifiable evidence. That's it. So that's the way I look at it.
But Walter, let's play with their theory for a little bit, right? And I know that I'm the lone dissent on this stage, but let's just for the case of argument, let's say she has arthritis. Let's even go further.
Arthritis isn't cruel and unusual punishment, though. I mean, but I understand.
No,
go ahead for sake of argument. Go ahead.
Yeah, just for the sake of argument, I think. What do you mean, cruel and unusual? They're saying that she has medical problems. That has nothing to do with cruel and unusual punishment. Cruel, unusual punishment would be for Jared Polis to say, let's, and I know this is derogatory, but let's hang Tina Peters outside of the governor's mansion in Colorado, right? That would be cruel and unusual punishment outside the governor's mansion in Denver. But obviously I'm not endorsing any of that, so no one jump on me. But I did want to say though, like if we're going to play with that little theory, and Walter, a lot of these, and I'm not directing this at anyone on this stage, but like I hear a lot of people in the MAGA movement who say, if you actually want to do things, you actually have to vote. Then you have the other people who are always like, well, Fauci's going to be in a DC metropolitan jail in the next 4 months. You're going to see Liz Cheney, in the back of a police car. You're going to see Liz Cheney's mugshot released with Patel and Bongino at a press conference. Like, these things are not realistic. They are not happening. We have federal judges who are not seeing this. I've been outside the federal courthouse in Norfolk for the last 4 days waiting for Letitia James to get indicted. And every single grand jury in Norfolk, Virginia has not only said to the federal government, and Walter, you mentioned this the other day, the federal government has a really good chance at getting indictments. We always talk about how the feds in DC, we can indict a ham sandwich. This is not happening. So if you want to vote, for your Trump-backed Republicans, go do that. But Tina Peters is most likely going to be in prison for the next few years. Whether or not she has health problems does not matter. There's millions of people suffering who have back problems, who have toes cut off, who have diabetes, and a whole bunch of other chronic illnesses who are suffering in jail. So I don't want this sob story just because she tried to
look, guys. We don't guys. Hold on a minute here.
You know?
So I understand, but my point is specifically is I don't know if she has health issues, and you don't either. Okay, like that's the problem, guys. Like in presenting things without evidence is something I don't do. Okay, I'm never going to bring anything forward on this show from me. Nothing out of my mouth will I ever say unless I have the evidence to back it. Okay, that's just how it is for me. Now, I can be speculative, and there's people asking, there's a couple people talking about, there's some people talking about whether or not you can get the pardons from Trump, what he's talking about, the pardons for the Biden pardons and whatnot. That's a completely separate question. Separate question, separate idea, separate legal statute. It's not the same thing. Okay, it's what Trump's talking about with Tina Peters is a completely different scenario than the pardons that I think probably still have to be adjudicated at some level for the way that that's happened, because I don't believe it's a good thing for our country if we just have unnamed pardons for unknown crimes for extended periods of time. I think that has to be adjudicated because I think it would incentivize crime from the entire administration, every administration here forward, if you don't deal with that. I think that has to be addressed by the court. But again, when it comes to anything with Tina Peters, Like I understand that there's a significant grassroots effort to say that she shouldn't be in prison and that what she did, she was trying to prove, election fraud, and that's the only reason went after her. That all might be true, but getting her out of prison is a whole different scenario. Getting her out of prison and just saying that she has medical conditions and she has this and she has that. I don't have any evidence of that. Okay. I don't know. Maybe she does. Maybe she has some major, maybe she's suffering from cancer. I don't know. But, I would have to see it. I would have to be able to present the evidence to me so that I could actually make an informed decision on it. And I can't make an informed decision on it because, as far as I'm aware, everyone just kind of talks about it and doesn't give me anything on it. So, if you have direct evidence on it, somebody else does, then I'd love to hear it. Southern, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I want to answer Jeff's question. The only way someone is released from prison is terminally ill, permanently, totally disabled, because they don't, in the facility, have a way to manage them. They can't keep people in their infirmary, for years. Those beds turn over. There's a point to that. Also, there is something with Trump. Trump has a huge heart. He knows what Tina Peters tried to do. He sees that as being loyal and doing the right thing. He's going to do everything he can do, and he can push pressure from different directions that may, let's say Colorado governor may do this, give her a pardon. But whatever's going to happen, I think we keep her in our prayers. And Jared, please don't call people willfully ignorant. That is beneath you.
Well, listen,
we all know different things.
Well, listen, and you are correct, Southern. That this is a much better line of reasoning here. Okay, Trump has lots of different levers that he can pull to try and pressure states to do things, and he can make some sort of deal with the Colorado people that maybe, okay, you get this, and if you're going to pardon Tina Peters, I don't know. Okay, but again, this is all speculative stuff. Okay, like this is all very speculative, and the idea that we're just going to somehow get her out of prison or something is just. I've had this conversation a couple times now, and my response is the same every single time. I don't see it being legally possible currently. If there was some legal way that you could have her get out of prison in the next, short period of time, that'd be great. But I don't see any way of doing that legally currently with the stand with where we stand currently. That's just how it is.
But Jared Polis would be a fool. He would be an absolute fool of a governor in Colorado to somehow. If I scratch your back, you scratch my back, Donald Trump. There would be a lot of Democrats in Denver protesting.
No, it will not be scratch my back. It will, because he has a lever that puts him in.
Yeah, listen. You're talking about pressuring. Okay, like there is pressure that you can apply for government funding. There's a million different things. The president is very powerful. Okay, like don't be fooled. The president has lots of power, and the president can do all sorts of things. And there could be a way that maybe he pressures them into doing something. You don't know. Again, this is speculative. Okay, no one has any idea of any way that this is going to happen. All I'm saying is that legally, I see zero way of Tina Peters being released from prison right now. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And unless the appeals court says something, then if you get in a ruling from the appeals court, for all we know, the appeals court comes out next week and Tina Peters is released from prison. Which is why I guess all of this is kind of like, okay, what do we say here? If the appeals court has a case and they come forward and they say, well, nope, she shouldn't have been in prison in the first place, what is everyone going to say then? Like, well, there you go, she's out. That's just how it is.
Colorado is going to sue, and I believe the Colorado State Supreme Court is mostly Democrat. So I don't see that happening. And then obviously if this goes from Denver to Washington, D.C., which would be the chances of that would be lower than 2%. So we would have to look it up. But I believe the state
Jared,
of the Supreme
you don't
Court,
know that.
What I don't, hold on, stop, guys, stop interrupting each other for one. Stop. Okay, one, the idea that you just brought forward, I don't know what the 2% thing that you just brought forward. I don't have any idea what you just referenced. And suing how, if the appeals court of Colorado is the one that releases her from prison, that is the appeals court of Colorado. That would mean the state of Colorado is the one that released her.
No, it wouldn't. So there would be an injunction. So that means the state would sue and say, appeals court, we want this to go up higher.
Well, they would appeal, but they would appeal. Yeah, but again, you're again saying that this is what if then the state court doesn't even take the case, Jared? You don't know that.
I think they would.
I mean, you never know.
The Democrat,
Listen, guys,
you don't think the
Jared,
Colorado Supreme Court would
stop
take the
interrupting
case?
me and just you're again. We're talking about completely and pointlessly speculative ideas. Okay, the idea that a Colorado state court would then appeal and say, well, she's out of prison, and then that the state court would then maybe if that happened, then they wouldn't take the case, or maybe they would, or maybe they would sue. Like all of this, none of this means shit. I don't even know why we're talking about it, to be honest with you. This is a conversation that keeps happening, and I'm telling you that until I see some sort of change in evidence or change in status, I don't see anything changing with this. This is a pointless conversation. So go ahead, Crow Nation. What's up?
Walter, she has a reoccurrence of lung cancer.
Okay, so she has lung
That is
cancer.
what's going on, okay? And that's been reported by several media outlets that lung cancer has come back. She's experiencing shortness of breath. She's having trouble getting medical treatments while in prison. So, yes, it is cruel and unusual punishment. When somebody has cancer and they are dying, you have to administer medical aid. That's the Hippocratic Oath.
Well,
That's
okay.
right.
I mean, if that's true,
Okay.
if she has a reoccurrence of lung cancer, then that is a different evidence to talk about this. But again, I haven't seen that.
Exactly. And all we've been sitting here listening to for the last 15 minutes is Jared going on and on about speculation and fairy tales.
Well, hey, listen to me.
and
Hey, look, we're not going to jump over top of people because everyone in here is speculating. Every single person in here that's talking about this case is speculating to some degree. Okay, so like we don't need to talk and say that Jared's wrong or somebody else is wrong. You're all wrong. Everyone's wrong. Everybody in here is wrong, and no one has any idea what the hell's happening.
She has cancer.
That doesn't mean she's going to get released from prison, Crow Nation. Doesn't. Okay? You know, everyone talking about like
Jared's going to the protest, Walter.
oh, there we go. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
We're going. I'm going to
Yeah,
listen. I'll see you at
agree
the
with that
Bastille
for
March.
sure.
Support J6ers being imprisoned and prosecuted. So here's the thing: Colorado has a special needs release. It is state law. It does involve a host of issues, of which, if this is true, she would qualify for because she's also over 55. So
Exactly.
This is the case in Colorado.
Well, guys, again, this is all things that her attorney should be bringing forward, not us on the next base.
They are bringing it forward. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They are bringing this forward. And this is the reason why. Because there is an extraneous illness circumstance involved. And yes, Jared, the president can fast track anything to the Supreme Court. Look at all of the stuff he's fast tracked thus far.
Yeah, but that would have to go through that's a different legal court. That's not the same thing.
I understand. They would have to fast track it through the state would have to go through the state, and then you also have to have the federal appeal court will also have to weigh in. But all of this can be fast tracked.
Ma'am, there would be no federal appeals court, so it's a state case. So it would go up to the Colorado State Supreme Court, and then from there it would go straight to Washington D.C., which there would be no federal appeals court. This is not a
Jared,
guys, no, listen, it is state crimes. Okay, so the idea that it can't be fast tracked to the U.S. federal appeals court because that's not accurate. It can't. It's a state crime. You don't fast track to the U.S. Supreme Court from a state crime. That's not possible.
Okay.
Separate legal system.
All right. If you guys say so.
Yeah, her habeas corpus was denied
If you
though
guys
because she's
say
in
so.
appeal right now. So it's important for people to understand that her habeas corpus petition was denied because it is still in the state's processes. But outside of that, there is no federal process I see for a long time.
So basically, she's just going to die in prison.
Guys, this is what
okay.
everyone acting as if this is some sort of thing that we have any control over. I'm telling you, like if she has the ability to file for some extraneous circumstance, her attorneys will do that. But I see nothing. And again, I just went to just double check to see if there's current things that I can look up, and I can go look through Colorado's. I'll have to go pull Colorado's specific case laws because they don't have access to Pacer, but I have a Pacer account, but I'll go look and see what their current status of the case is. If people are that's interested by this case, I'll go look into it. I mean, you know, I can go to Colorado next month and go check it out. And I'll tell you what I find. But again, to me, I don't have any evidence of anything. So, you know, even the cancer part of this, I don't see direct sourcing showing that she has cancer currently. I don't have a document.
I was looking up. I do think I don't want anyone to die in prison. So I do think the best thing, and I think you guys would agree, I don't think the governor would give her a pardon. Now, the governor of Colorado, if I'm right, he can commute her sentence. So he could say X, Y, and Z reasons of why she's right, has medical reasons. She can be home with her family. We're going to commute her sentence, but she will still be released by being a convicted felon of impersonating. So, I think that's fair, right?
I mean, commuting the
I'm
sentence, regardless. I mean, it doesn't matter how she was released from prison in that scenario. That's still, if commuting the sentence is still release. But again, the question we've all been talking about is whether or not there's some way that you can fast track this anywhere other than in the state courts is not accurate. And again, I don't see any direct. I would have to see that there is some sort of, there is no confirmed reporting talking about her having an ongoing battle with cancer. So I don't see that.
We got to call the governor's office and ask him to just be like, give her a reprieve or something, because
listen,
she can be out temporarily while they resolve.
All of these things are possible. These things are possible, guys. But again, this is all, we're once again reading into speculation.
Wait a second. Wait.
Guys, one at a time. One at a time.
Southern, hold on a second. Walter, I will get you the articles. I was in the process of copying the articles when the chat did something weird, so I had to come back to the chat. But if you look it up in Quark, it's right there. You just ask it. Does Tina Peters have cancer? Because that would be the extraneous medical circumstance, not that she has bunions or that she has diabetes. It has to be something extraneous. And actually, diabetes, by the way, Jared, that can also kill you. There have been millions of people who have died from diabetes-related illnesses. So please don't sit there and go on about diabetes not being a serious illness.
Jared and I are going to resolve this. We're going to call the governor's office. All right, me and Jared are going to get together and get her a reprieve.
Tina Peters did wrong. Tina Peters should have just made sure when she got arrested she had meth on her. Because in Colorado, if you had meth or other drugs, you can get released to a halfway house and serve a few years at the halfway house and then be released on good behavior. But if you're Tina Peters and you expose and maybe she shouldn't have copied whatever was on there. I don't know. But no one disputed that what she copied was incorrect. That seems to be missing from the conversation.
The jury saw otherwise, right?
Well,
so
a jury of her peers in a state that in an area that's radically Democrat is a joke, Jared.
Okay, so just for a little bit of clarity here, guys, and we are running out of time, so I'm going to just go ahead and cut in here again because, again, I personally have now just sat here and done a little bit of research into this, and there is zero, and I do mean zero, independent verification that the woman has cancer right now. Okay, so again, you guys, evidence is the only thing I care about. Okay, if you give me evidence and let me read it and see that it has verifiable proof, it has a medical document, it's got a statement from her attorney, something along those lines, I'm happy to read it. But if you guys don't have that, this is not a conversation that matters because, again, we're talking about speculation on legal state crimes and whether or not they're going to be charged to federal crimes. All of this stuff is complete speculation in legal means that I'm not versed in how exactly you would even do that, let alone the fact that I don't think it's even possible to have state crimes be moved into a federal state crime, like into a federal jurisdiction. I don't think that's possible. Now,
Okay. Remember, they tried to keep Trump off the ballot in the state of Colorado.
Yes, they did. Yes, I remember that.
That just tells you what Tina Peters has. They will do.
They're also all really high too.
Well, that's the real problem. See, the real problem is that they're all stoned, and this is the same problem I believe they have in Providence. Okay, Providence in Rhode Island has the most incompetent people that I've ever seen in my life in charge, and they are all so stoned out of their gourd that they can't even get the names right of people that they release and leak to the media. So
they went for pizza. They're tired.
That's right. They are very, very tired. It's exhausting work screwing up so badly. I mean, it really is. But guys, at this point, The show we've kind of just evolved talking about Tina Peters for the past 30 minutes. I think we don't need to continue this conversation because this is a good conversation, but not necessary for future content because we've covered it and beaten it at a dead horse at this point. So, guys, we will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for more of the Political Theater. I appreciate everyone who showed up here this evening. If you guys are listening on any of the other streams, make sure you guys share this link out. Make sure you guys subscribe to my content. Make sure you guys subscribe to all the people that are up here on the stage. Most of these people up here have subscriptions available. If you like my speakers, make sure you follow them. If you guys are following us on Substack, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys may be listening and tuning in, thank you guys for being here. And I will be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. for more of the Political Theater. I appreciate everyone who shows up here, and we will see you guys next time on the theater. Thanks, guys.
Some folks are born with a liberty spark. Their hearts beat red, white, and blue. When the anchors sneer and the cameras bark, they turn the lens right back at you. Truth bound, ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not the party line sons, no, it ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so. Some folks inherit silk-lined halls, spend our sweat while preaching share. But when the tax man wraps his knuckles raw, their mansions suddenly look bare, impaired. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not their banker-raised hairs, no. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so. Yeah, some paint stars on press room lies and send the common men to toil. Ask them, how much truth will you trade tonight? They mutter, more noise, more noise, more noise. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. Not the theater's pawns, friend. It ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're America's steadfast ones. No, we won't be spun.